Hello everybody, Matt Bull here, MD of Action Coach in Loughborough, here with another episode of Business Spotlight, and I'm delighted today to be joined by Adam Gillott of 3 Point Design. How are you today, Adam?
I'm very well, thank you very much, Matt.
Good man, good man. Obviously a Forest fan doing a lot better than Leicester at the moment.
Well, I'm not going to boast, it can easily turn around.
Right, let's get cracking then. So why don't you just tell everybody what you do and how long you've done it for?
Okay, well, I'm the MD at 3 Point Design. We've literally just finished our 16-year trading, so it's been quite a while. It's nice to be established. Never thought that we'd be going that long, but we are still, which is good, I guess. My job, well, I'm the MD at 3 Point. I've kind of got like two hats. Also act as a sales person here as well. So I do look after my own accounts as well as running the company. I'm also very, very hands-on. We're not a huge business. There's 16 of us here, so we've got that personal touch, which is why the vast majority of projects that do run through the business, somewhere along the line, I'm involved somehow.
Excellent, excellent. Thanks for that. So great success story. 16 years is good in anyone's books. But when you think about the word success, and is there a person, or whether it be a sportsman or a celebrity, maybe a celebrity business person that jumps out? So who might be successful in your eyes?
I can't say that there's anybody that I think really inspires me. There's lots of people. I mean, each year I go to BizX, for instance. I'm looking forward to this year's, and every year just somebody jumps on stage. I think, wow, that's incredible. I think at the end of last year's BizX, Noel Fitzpatrick, I just was there with my chin open, thinking this guy's written this on a train. And I think, wow, just inspiring. So I don't think there's one person. There's just lots and lots and lots. I like to listen to people, especially leaders, all sorts, because you just try. What I do try and find is that the more inspiration you get from more people, you pick up all the good points. Because myself, there's lots of traits that I have, but rather than trying to pick up from one person, I like to try and be more rounded. Does that make sense? So I can't necessarily think of one particular person. Maybe a little bit of Brian Clough.
Yeah, obviously. So what does, on that basis then, what does the word success mean to you? Because it means lots of different things to different people. What does the word success mean to you?
I think on a personal level, success to me is what I'm doing now. Right from an early age, I had an ambition, even probably grown up, 12, 13, 14. I just wanted to own my own business. But at the time, it's because my thoughts of owning no business was having a big car and a big house, lots of holidays, lots of money. Of course, when you get into it, it's completely different. But my background before I not joined 3 Point, but created 3 Point, was I worked for a much, much larger concern. 300 odd people worked there. There was so many things I really enjoyed about that business. But as the company grew, what I didn't like was the fact that they weren't giving the personal service anymore to customers. So, I had certain clients that I had to drop because they were just not deemed big enough, or I was stopped from going and seeing meetings. So for me, success means lots of different things. And one is my home life. I've got a lovely family that I can afford holidays, which is lovely. But, in terms of the business, is the fact that 16 years on, we're going, each year we grow, other than maybe the COVID year, but we just get that little bit bigger. But we're still doing within the original parameters, was not to get too big and not to lose that personal touch, which I think, hand on heart, that's something that we still offer to every single client now. If we outgrow that, then for me, that's not success. It's not about the size or the amount of money you make. It's what you profess to do. We had an ethos at the start that 16 years later, I still think that we're good to the day.
Man, that's amazing. And so those 16 years, you alluded a bit there to the sort of observations, maybe I won't call them frustrations, but observations you had at the place you were working. What was the tipping point then? Because a lot of people talk about starting a business and they say, oh, I could do it better, or whatever it might be. What was the tipping point for you that made you go, now's the time?
I think the tipping point was the company got bought out by a larger concern. It was backed by a financial consortium. And over a very, very short period of time, it kind of took the fun and the family feel out of the business. Genuinely, I was going into meetings about having a meeting, and I thought, this is just not good use of my time. You know what I mean? I want to be out there servicing clients, meeting them face to face, giving that personal to helping people, and that just kind of really changed it. Within the business, it kind of very, very quickly changed to a business where they had a massive can-do attitude. Everybody wanted to help each other. If I went to another colleague, I really need your help. Can you? Yes, of course I can. Straight away, I was going through and saying, look, I need some help from somebody. Yeah, put that in an email, organise a meeting. Let's get together and chat. Thinking, I don't like this, really don't like it anymore. You know, just that personality just got ripped out of it very, very quickly. So, you know, at the back of my mind, 3 Point was something that I'd wanted to set up for a while. And I thought one day I'll have enough experience. I'll have done lots of different jobs, lots of different roles. And, you know, the time will be right. And I just know it will present itself. And it did. You know, I got to the point where this business I loved, you know, the kind of heart had been ripped out of it. I thought, you know, let's go back to doing what I love and you know, talking to people, doing a lot more, and I guess having a bit of a meaning and being able to make a difference. You know, and even now, I still think that I come into work every day knowing I'm going to make a difference to somebody, whether it's a client or whether it's a colleague that needs some help problem solving. That's what I love, really.
Good. And does that, when you talk about making a difference, does that, you try and cascade that through the organisation as well, and sort of get that sense of purpose and care to everybody in the organisation?
100%. You know, culture here at 3 Point is massive. It really, really is to us. You know, and it's one thing that when we are interviewing people, it's not about somebody coming in that's got a great CV, references, whatever. We want to make sure that they've got the right culture and the right fit for the business. You know, if somebody comes in and they've not got the same kind of can-do, want to help people attitude, then it's just not quite right for us. You know, the other thing, I remember when I left school, I went I did an apprenticeship for 2 years. I actually wanted to be a graphic designer, but wasn't good enough. But in actual fact, that business really, really helped me. Those 2 years was fantastic. And you know, after setting up 3 Point, I think we've had something like 5 people on apprenticeship schemes. We've had 3 design interns and then a business intern. And it's great because they come along and you just think, well, we're helping them. You know, we're helping them for the future. So we've got that duty of care, whether it's somebody that's coming in for a 12-month period or it's somebody that's here that's going to be on you know, working later in the career. We want to help that because it helps us, and it's, you know, it's a nice feeling as well doing that. You know, to the point where even when we have review meetings, you know, going back a few years ago, we always kind of sit down and say to people, look, where do you want to be in 5 years? You know, if it's still at 3 Point, what do you want to be doing? So we can help them develop them. And then even if they say, well, actually, I don't see my future at 3 Point, I want to be off doing this, this, and this, and opening my own company, you know, that's not a bad answer. We want to know that so we can help people, because even a business like ours, where there's 16 people, every single person in this building deserves the opportunity to develop and thrive. And, you know, and that's part of our culture as well. If you try and keep people lower down and don't give them that opportunity to shine, then, you know, that's just part of being a good business owner to me.
Brilliant, brilliant. And you'd be amazed how many people forget that. So 16 years, great, amazing business growth. You know, great story, great success story, award-winning business you've created there. For yourself as a business owner, Adam, how do you think you've grown over the course of that period of time?
Massively. I really, really have. I just, every single day I learn about myself, you know, going back to being a business owner. A lot of my thoughts about what I'm going to do today, tomorrow, the rest of the week is about myself and my own growth and what affects me. You know, when you become a business owner, you have to wear so many caps, but it's not just about yourself. It's not just about me. You know, I'm constantly just trying to look around the business, think, well, what can we do better? Or trying to actually acknowledge if I see somebody that's low or that they're not performing to their usual standards, whatever it might be. You know, you just need to be able to, you know, kind of react and look at people and kind of, some people might need a shake, some people might need an arm around them, some people might have problems at home. You know, one thing we do here, and I've got to say that's a learning from action coach, because we do have our own coach. You know, we have a one-to-one meeting with every single person in the company. I don't do all of them, you know, one of the other directors do them, but it's an opportunity to sit down with their agenda, not ours, and you just find out what's going on in the home life, what's going on in the family, what's going on at work, you know, because if you've got a good staff member that you care about, and we do, every single staff member we care about, we want to help them, you know, it just helps the business flourish. It really, really does. You know, I know lots of people in business will say you keep your staff happy in lots of ways, and it's not just about rewarding with money or whatever it might be. It's just looking after them. You do that, then, you know, that's one of the mainstays for our business, really.
Cool. You mentioned earlier, you mentioned COVID. Obviously, it's a tough time for a lot of businesses, but being in retail for yourself, I imagine that created a few issues and challenges to deal with. How did you deal with that period of time for your business?
Well, I think it was an odd period, not just because of, you know, being an unknown for the whole world and never known anything like this. As a business owner, I didn't know how to tackle it. I didn't know how to cope with it. Really, really hard. So we just had to make decisions and kind of just trust that we're making the right decision. So there's 3 directors here. We were talking on a daily basis about what we do, what the plans are, but also we were relaying that to the staff. So, you know, every single day, either myself or one of the directors, we spoke to staff daily. And also every single week, we organised a little group, you know, Zoom or office kind of little team videos, just so everybody can see each other and chat, because not just for us, a lot of people sat at home. The only thing I can liken it to is if anybody's ever had to spend a period of time in the hospital, even if it's only in A&E, the most frustrating thing is not what's going, you don't know what's going on. You're just desperate for somebody to come and tell you what's happening. So, for us, first and foremost, it was about managing the staff. How do they feel? What are they going through? And just explain to them daily. Before we went on lockdown and we went, everybody was furloughed, we was kind of having daily update meetings with everybody just to listen to what questions they've got or concerns. And, we were just honest. We didn't know the answers. We couldn't share it, but we literally took every comment on board. And then, throughout COVID, it was tough. We had 3 months where our turnover was up here and it went to nothing just overnight. And we also realised that it was tough for people that were furloughed. But all I can say is we just literally did what felt right, managed people as best we could. And then
those lessons about communication, or probably not lessons for you, because it sounds like you sort of that's really important to you, that sort of inclusivity.
Yeah.
That communication, is that obviously embedded itself, I suppose, in the business since then, and moving forward it will?
I think so, yeah. I mean, again, it's not alien to us anyway, because we really are open with everybody. Yeah. I think back 7 years ago, we were looking to move a factory, and every step of the way, we kept having staff meetings to say, look, this is what we're thinking of doing, this is where we're moving. We presented office plans so everybody could see where they were sitting. We moved them, brought people over so they could see the building. Again, it's, you try and share as much as you obviously appreciate it. There's always certain things you can't share, but to a point, we try and share as much as we can because, we value everybody's opinions, we want everybody's input. And, if we just make changes without kind of sharing that with people and getting their input, then it doesn't kind of work. You find people are quite closed off and they won't give you feedback. But if you're more open, then people will just, they're excited. They're excited to be going along that journey. And I wasn't saying people was excited about COVID by any means, but, as we brought people back gradually after lockdown, one by one, you could just tell everybody just absolutely just could not wait to get back. And I think the way we managed it, it was almost like that. I think, our accountant was quite critical. He wanted us to make loads of redundancies and keep people off as long as we could to maximise the furlough scheme. But, we took a different view. We financially, we looked after our money. So we brought people back as soon as we possibly could, one by one. And everybody's came back like a coiled spring. So as soon as work started coming through the door, I don't know, everybody just kind of embraced it. And it was, I mean, don't get me wrong, people were affected in different ways. They really were. And again, that's something that we had to manage. And all our health and safety in HR is outsourced to a company called Peninsula. And we subscribe to a scheme called Health Assured. So every staff member has got access to free counselling if they want. And it's not just counselling for work, all their families covered by it as well. And I know that the people in the business did use it. Because again, I'm the business owner, I'm not a psychiatrist. So if somebody comes in and sat in my office in tears because they're really struggling, yeah, ring this number, talk to a professional. You don't have to pay for it. Companies covered it. And again, I know we've probably made mistakes and we're not perfect, but hand on heart, I think we did everything we can, and every decision we made, we did, the best we could. We really tried. But communication, I think, was key throughout.
Excellent. So it's a lot of business owners would say it's a pretty uncertain time out there. I mean, it kind of always is. There's always something happening, isn't there? But for yourselves at the moment, how do you see the sort of short to medium term panning out? What are your sort of business goals you're going after?
To be honest, we're not overly concerned. I mean, our business is point of sale, so we make this small, large displays that go into stores. So we should be a little bit concerned because retail's a little bit messed up by now. But given the flexible operation that we have, we've got great staff here as well. So we're just constantly looking for new accounts all the time, and we've been able to grow the last 2 years since coming back from COVID. We had a big dip, but I'm looking forward to the next 12 months because, as a company, we've got a great team here and we've got a great sales force, and business is growing still. So we're not being overly ambitious where we're giving ourselves targets that we're going to fail, but we're expecting a potential about another 10% increase in turnover this year. Last year we smashed our targets, and in a climate that's very difficult for lots of people, we're delighted with that.
Yeah, you should be. Employment and quality people is an issue a lot of business owners talk about at the moment. It's probably the number one thing that we're hearing at the moment.
Yeah.
From your perspective, I mean, you've got a pretty strong employer brand. What's your take on I suppose the employment situation, or if employers are struggling to recruit? What's your take on that?
Yeah, I don't think we're any different. You know, I think if anybody's to ask me what's the hardest thing running a business right now, it's recruitment. You know, it's really, really difficult to get you know, talented, quality people that want to work. You know, because we're manufacturing here and we're trying to have, you know, equal opportunities and equal level across the business. We've tried to not have people working from home, because it just, I know lots of people are, and that's great, but it just doesn't work for us. We need everybody in the same building, you know, and we have tried to recruit people, and you know, it's been difficult because a lot of people do want to work from home, and it's something that just doesn't work. You know, we can't offer that flexibility. But then likewise, we're just finding that, you know, there's obviously a lot of people out there. Every time we put a job advert out, we get lots of you know, people applying, but trying to get the right candidates is really, really tough. You know, we regularly get people not showing for the interviews. Just last week alone, we had 2 people fail to show up for interviews, and that's hard. It really, really is. So that's probably the biggest, I don't know, issue that we face right now, trying to find the right quality people.
Okay, so for a lot of business owners at the moment, as I alluded to, times are tough. You're an experienced business owner yourself. You've been in business 16 years. Business owners finding it tough. What advice would you give them at the moment? I mean, you've been through a lot. You've grown a business. You've got a great team, an amazing award-winning business. What advice would you give to those business owners at the moment who are finding things tough?
Well, I think I can only talk from my experience. You know, my experience. We have 2 other directors here, and we just share the burden. You know, we sit down regularly every single week without fail. We have a management meeting and we talk about our own personal troubles in the business, what we're planning, and we just try and plan ahead. And again, it's another adage we've had from working with Action Coach. You know, you've always got to plan ahead. So, you know, you're not always just focused on the here and now and the problems you've got here and now. It's trying to plan for the future and the future successes. So that's all. The only thing I can say, just try and share. It's just a massive burden as a business owner. I mean, I do remember in the early days of 3 Point, I felt everything was always on my shoulders, and I just constantly felt like I was carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders. But these days I really don't, because, you know, I've got 2 other directors. We share everything. We make decisions together, and that filters down through the company. So I appreciate that there's lots of sole traders and there's lots of people maybe don't have that in the business, but you know, for me, I think that's crucial. You get advice from other people. If you've not then got, you know, other people in your business you can trust, then, you know, sign up to Action Coach, talk to friends, family, other business owners, or even get involved in networking meetings, because, you know, there's a lot there where you can lean on people and talk to them and share experiences. You know, I know the Action Coach networking meetings, one of the things that we did, one of the first we went to, you go around and talk to people in the room and you say, they ask you a problem. You say, well, I've got a problem making sales. Have you tried this? You know, you get other people's opinions, and before you know, you think, well, actually, that could work. Yeah. You know, you can't answer every problem yourself. You can't come up with a solution for every problem yourself. So it's about finding your niche way of getting help and advice from others, whoever that might be.
And there's normally, or not normally, there's virtually always somebody who's been through what you're going through as well. And that feeling of loneliness just goes straight away, doesn't it?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Okay, final question I ask everybody. So, experienced business owner, very successful. What advice would you give your 18-year-old self?
Take your time. Don't rush into decisions. Listen to others. You know, I think, you know, I even look at that, my children right now, they don't like taking advice, and it's difficult, but you've got to, you know, and I think that probably the reason why, you know, I like to think of myself as quite well-rounded is because I didn't rush into anything. You know, I made a point of doing lots of different roles before I even entertained setting up my own business. But don't be scared of failure either. You know, lots of people fail. You know, we've had failures within 3 Point, and you can't be afraid of it.
Brilliant. Listen, Adam, absolute pleasure to have you on the Business Spotlight for this episode. And to everybody watching, I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of the Business Spotlight. Many thanks.
Thank you very much.